All right, yo, welcome back to the Who's Right podcast and another series victory. And this time against a really hot team, the Kansas City Royals. They came in hot, and the pitching, other than game two, kind of quieted them down a little bit. But before we get started, hey guys, subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment in the comment section, let us know what you think. And Victor, how you doing?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm really high on these Mets, and I know a lot of people are counting this out. A lot of people are telling us to slow our roll, but I'm feeling high right now, and you're not going to bring me down. I think that the Mets have potential to go far this season, to do big things, and to shock the world, like I've been saying. And it all starts here. And you know what? What fuels it? Having fun. These Mets are having fun, man, and it's awesome to see.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. We had a good series. Game two got a little out of hand, but before we get to game two, let's talk about game one. Game one, we had McNeil kind of break out potentially out of whatever was going on, and we had a good start from Severino. I just wish that he get away from that bad inning or that bad couple of batters so he can get to the sixth inning because these 5 inning starts from a guy like Severino. He's looking good for 4 innings, and then he has one bad inning to kind of derail his start. Not derail in the sense that we're losing, but in the sense that he's not getting deep in games. And so I don't know. Tell me what you think.
I'm just glad that David Stearns has created so much depth that we don't have to worry about it this early on in the season, and that it's able to be just a next man up, and we're not having to worry about getting into too much trouble because we got guys to fill out the pen. But it will be a problem later in the year because you can't sustain a bullpen when your pitchers are only going 5 innings. That's not the way that rosters are constructed nowadays, and it's not the ideal way that anyone wants to construct a roster. Because now you have people talking about wanting to have Budo be a long reliever type, or just having more arms to be more of that long reliever type. When that shouldn't even be a conversation. We should be able to have just our pitchers go at least 6 innings and then pass it off to three relievers to get us through the innings. So it does worry me because this has been a revolving door with every one of our pitchers this year, where they go up, they pitch well for the first few innings, and then they just kind of lose it towards the end. And you can't sustain winning like that throughout the season. So I still trust that it's going to change because man, these guys have good stuff. Besides, having the hiccups here and there, they just have run into some pretty hot teams and some pretty hot bats these past couple of times. So it'll really concern me when we face a team that's not so hot with their bats. In a couple of weeks or um, in a couple of weeks, we'll see, less. I don't know. We're gonna see how this really tallies up because the Mets have a tough schedule here on for the next month or so, but it's just we have to just get through it. We'd have to get through it, man.
Yeah, no, no, for sure. And so hopefully he starts figuring it out and goes in deep into games, and we don't have to tax our bullpen as much. And there's some bright spots in the bullpen. John Jay coming up to um, you know give us some innings. He wasn't even on coming out of spring training. He wasn't a guy that we were thinking about. But he's a guy that, through a lot of perseverance, made it to the majors. 29 years old, made his debut this week, and showed us some things. And so I'm really excited. Like you said, Stearns has done a really good job with the bullpen, and so really, really, we when's the last time we could have said something like that about our bullpen, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, no, for sure. What a great story with Jay, man. You know, being a first round draft pick in 2015 to all the health complications that he had, and seeing how emotional he was after being able to make his major league debut. You can't help but get all the feels when you see him. You know, so emotional, and the reason why he was grinding so hard. You know, he said he was now he's able to tell his daughter that if you work your hardest, if you don't give up, then your dreams can come true. And he has the repertoire to back it up now, or he has the story to back it up. So he and besides his amazing story, he looked good. He looked a little shaky for his major league debut against those Braves last week. But this past, I think it was Saturday, he pitched well, and he got himself some nice soft contact outs, um, and I think it can be a really a good piece to watch going forward. I don't think he's going to be in any high stress situations, but if he can be that guy that gets us through innings without having to worry about blowing a lead, then that's going to be a really valuable piece for the Mets to have in their bullpen.
yeah, no, and another piece that we weren't expecting, Reed Garrett. Showing some strong stuff. Last week we talked about, or last video we talked about losing Tomkin and and Yohan Ramirez, and we're not missing a beat losing those guys. So pretty. Like I said, we're pretty happy with the how the Stearns has worked this bullpen. But going on to game two, Mania had his worst start of the year. Didn't have it. And hopefully this is just a hiccup for Mania. I believe it's just a hiccup. Everybody has a bad game and stuff like that. But like you said, John Jay came in and ate some innings. Like you said, he's not going to be a guy that's going to probably be in that pressure situation. I don't think, but it's a guy that is going to be eating some innings for us, and you need those guys in the bullpen. And unfortunately, we let this one go. We tried to come back a little bit, but at the end of the day, the comeback came short, and they took that game.
It's been really surprising to see too, just to see how much our defense has failed us this so far this year. Because the reason I feel like a lot, like what Brandon was talking about last series against the Braves, and why that game kind of got away from them when the defense failed them a couple of times. We've seen that happen with the Mets a couple of times this year already, where they should have made some routine plays, and it just didn't happen. With Marte, he literally said he should have made that play, even if it was a tornado going on. The wind doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what kind of weather elements are going on at the time. He should have made it, and you saw how much that affected that inning because they ended up driving in, I think, 4 runs that inning. And same thing with Nimmo. That even though that's a tougher play to kind of uh, to kind of judge, it's also a play that makes all the time. We've seen him make harder plays than that, and that ended up resulting in a home run. And so, it's not all on Mania, although his stuff didn't look great. He got hit hard. Our defense has been just the kind of like the most shocking part, to be honest, because that's what David Stearns has built our team on, right? Is run prevention, and so far we've allowed a lot of runs off of a lot of errors.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I can't say anything about that except that you're right on that. And it's the Nemo um, play is it reminds me not too much of the old Conseco play where I mean it didn't hit him in the head like Conseco, but you hit it into out of play where they gave him the home run. So it's disappointing. Marte, has those kind of plays like, a handful of plays like that every year, I think. And, it's unfortunate. But, hopefully this motivates the team, man, because you're right. It wasn't all on Mania, it was on the defense. But hopefully this gets them going because as much fun as they're having, we also need a little bit of seriousness when it comes to playing defense, a little concentration when it comes to playing defense. But all in all, good game. Just well, not good game because we lost, but all in all, what else can we say about that game? Now, game three, good old pitchers duel on Doc Day. Before we get into the into the game, let's talk about the ceremony for a little bit. Doc was my guy growing up. You know what I mean? I was a big Ron Darling fan, but Doc was the ace of that pitching staff. Led us to that World Series, and it was great seeing him. Great seeing all the other guys that came out to see him. Mookie, Howard, Tim Tuff, Darryl, his nephew, Sheffield. Sheffield was never on the Mets. Oh well, he was on the Mets towards the end of his career, but it's one of those things, man. I got into, like you said earlier, I got into all my feels, remembering that team, because that's the last time we had a championship, and you weren't even a thought at that point. And so,
Yeah.
I got it all in my feels. But what you got to say about the ceremony?
It's just really cool because, like you said, I don't know these guys at all. I didn't get to grow up watching them, but they are the last team that won a championship, and for them to be able to connect them to the present, to see how they have an impact on the team today, on the fans today, it just brings everyone together. Good vibes all around, and Doc looks like a funny guy and looked like a lot of fun to be around. And so I hope that we see more of him in City Field. But I just hope that we can also bring another championship, bring this championship atmosphere to City Field to build that kind of mentality, to remind the fans and the players that we won a championship. Not so long. Well, it was kind of a long time ago now, but it happened, and we can see living proof of it. So let's bring another one, and maybe this is the team to do it on. Powered by retiring Doc Gooden's number and being inspired by that.
Yeah, no, I mean the game was inspiring. Howie Rose, when the game ended, said this performance by the Mets today was a game that Doc would have had by himself, right? It took 5 Mets pitchers to do it today. Doc would have done this 13 strikeouts, 1 run by himself, complete game. Wish we had those games back where the pitchers were must see TV. Because we're as the Mets fan, we love watching pitchers pitch, right? From Seaver to Doc to DeGrom. We're looking. We love seeing guys pitch, and so but like you said, this might lead with Stearns. I think it is leading towards that direction. In a year, we're seeing a whole different bullpen. We're seeing a whole different vibe on the team, and so I do believe that we're heading in the right direction. But let's get into the game, man. And so far, I mean, the best performance of the year is by Jose Buto. What do you think?
Twice. He's already
Twice.
done himself twice.
Yeah.
This is what we were talking about at the beginning of the year once they were going into the regular season. This is the guy we wanted to see on the mound. And, like I said, it was no hate to Adrian Hauser, but when I saw him be able to do what he did in spring training, I didn't know that it was going to translate to the regular season, but seeing it transfer now, is really awesome because this is somebody that they counted out last year, saying that he didn't have the stuff. You know, he was only going to be a long inning reliever. Now he's clawing his way into a starting role. Like you said, he has pitched the best out of all of our pitchers 2 times.
Well, I mean, Mendoza said he's no longer clawing. Mendoza said he's not going anywhere.
There you go. And if he went anywhere, you'd have the Mets fans rioting the streets because this is ridiculous. Who are we? The Oakland A's sending down our best players? No, we need these guys to win ball games, and we're not trying to tank like the Oakland A's are. We're trying to win championships. And when we have pitching like this, man, it excites me what we can do. Because not only is Jose Buto um, one of the guys in our minor league system, but there's guys biting at the heels, biting at his heels too, to get up in the into the major leagues. And it's going to be a healthy competition created within this rotation. And it all starts now. I don't know how old Buto is, but he's not that old. And hope if we found something good with him, then let's continue to grow on that.
Yeah, no, for sure. We talked about Jose Buto making not making the squad, and we kind of talked about that McGill was a guy that they were going to give the shot to, and Hauser came over as a trade, and that was never going to happen. But it was between McGill and Buto, and we both like Buto better, but we knew that they were going to give McGill the shot first. And what does because at the end of the day, there's not much to talk about this game. We scored in the ninth inning with a Bader little single, dribbler single, and Nimmo walking, and then had Edwin close out the game, but we're talking about the player of the game was Buto. So what this means for McGill when he comes back. I don't know. I think he's going to be sent down to the minors, unless Hauser shows that he's not going to be able to kind of continue, because then you put Hauser in the bullpen and send somebody else down, and so that might be a possibility. But I think the real thing here is that McGill kind of lost the spot.
Yeah, and I don't know if I wouldn't mind him being down in the minor leagues for a little bit because he still has some stuff to work on. His control just wasn't where we needed it to be. He was giving up too many walks, and that's ultimately been his downfall all the way leading up until now, and probably what's gotten him injured so many times as well. Because when you don't got your stuff, you exert more energy and spend more time on the mound when you don't need to be. And I think he needs to work on some of that stuff down in the minor leagues. But it all depends on how these other guys perform too. Uh, because if it's like you said, if Hauser is only going to give us 5 innings every time, then I don't think that's going to be sustainable. And they're going to give other guys a shot. And maybe when McGill does get healthy, he comes back, pitches a gem, and earns his spot in the rotation. So, like I said, it's going to be a healthy competition throughout. But I would like to see one of those guys in the bullpen, but probably not McGill just because he gives up so many walks. But he's also getting old. What, the guy's like 27 now, and so he's running out of time. He's got to figure it out fast. And I would hate for him to lose his opportunity because he just wasn't able to figure it out because he's got good stuff, man. You just got to locate it.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. We talked about it when he did get hurt, that him throwing so many pitches and exerting that energy. We questioned, did that hurt McGill? Did that make him end up in the IL? Because he was kind of like a more um, a bigger version of what we're talking about with Severino, having that one inning where he get kind of loses control and starts walking some guys, and but the difference was that McGill was doing it every inning. you know, and so that's the problem. So they'll probably send him down because Buto's doing well, and hopefully he figures it out. Man, this is the same issues he's having for years, and hopefully he does figure it out. But I don't know if he's gonna if everything stays put. I don't know if he's gonna get another shot with the Mets. At this point. So who knows? But um, you know, no other concerns, right? We saw, you know, McNeil kind of break out a little bit. I'm still not too concerned with Lindor, even though it was great that the crowd gave him some love. We kind of talked about that, give him some love. But I'm not too worried yet. Let me get to May 1st before I start worrying. May 1st is when I'll start worrying.
I don't know, man. I was so frustrated in today's game. First of all, I loved how the fans gave him a standing ovation all weekend because you could see how much it meant to him after receiving so many threats. And to see that the city actually still loves him and that there's just a bunch of knuckleheads out there that kind of ruined that for him really meant a lot to him. And he almost hit a bomb right after that happened. He just jumped on it a little bit early. But going into today's game, man, I almost beat you. I almost beat you in the who's right part of the Mets superstar because I thought bases loaded coming up. He was going to come in clutch and get us get us that knock to knock in a couple of runners so that we can go into the eighth inning or go into the eighth inning not worried with the lead and maybe give Edwin Diaz a comfortable win instead of having the stressful end to that game, which we did. And what does he do? He pops up. He pops up on the first pitch. And I was again watching the game with my brother, and I was like, I'm walking away. Once he came up to the plate, I saw that there was a right hand pitcher on the mound. I was like, he's batting lefty. He's gonna pop up. He's not gonna do anything here. And it was just so frustrating because I wanted to see him prove me wrong, but he did exactly that. And but I just, I know it's not going to happen. I just really wish that he would just focus on batting on the right side of the plate for right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not going to happen. Like I said, give me a month. I'm not going to stress about it too much. But yeah, let's get to the who's right part of the podcast. And I believe it's a push. Because as far as the Mets stars, obviously we were both wrong. I was a little closer than you because Beatty did have a few RBIs in the game in the series, but at the end of the day, he wasn't the standout superstar that carried us this series. And because it was almost like a team affair this whole series, right? It was contributions from a whole bunch of guys. It wasn't just one guy taking over.
Yeah, no, I mean, Beatty's been the superstar of the season so far. So if there's a who's right for the whole year, and someone chose Beatty, then they're winning. They're ahead right now because he's been a superstar on the team. When he came in today and pinch hit for Zach Short, um, man, to be able to be poised like that and get a timely hit to get a rally started. Is impressive, man, and not something a lot of young kids are able to do at his age. And so, but I will say it's a push because he did go off.
I thought you were about to give me the win.
I almost did, but he went over on Saturday, so we're not going to give it to him exactly. And like you said, there wasn't a standout star. McNeil looked great on Friday. Um, Pete looked good on Saturday, and today Harrison Bader won us the game. So,
Actually, Nimmo won us the game because Edwin did give up
that's true.
that bomb.
That's true. That's true. So there was no real Mets star this time, but I just had to point that out about Beatty.
Yeah, no, for sure. And on the other side, another push because the Mets killer of the series was Salvador Perez, and he carried them for 2 games. And so yeah, I think a push on both ends. Obviously, it's still the champ. Because leading 3-1 with but at the end of the day, oh no,
Two to,
3-1.
no, you didn't win last week. It's still 2-1. We'll have to go back and do the tally. But how could we both forget about the 2015 World Series MVP, man? How could we forget about the old man? You know, we should have known better to choose out of. No, I don't even want to get. I don't. We both want to forget that year, but we
Yeah, I don't
should
know
have
why you're
known.
bringing it up.
I know. I don't know why either. It's a curse. It's a jinx. But um,
but yeah, so Salvador led them. Like I said, led them enough that we still took the series. So that's kind of how I like my Mets killers to do it. And so on to the next series. Awesome series win with KC. And now we get another hot team coming in the Pittsburgh Pirates. And just a little preview. Honestly, it's going to be a short preview because we got Hauser tomorrow against Perez. Then we got Quintana on Tuesday, but they haven't announced a starter, and Severino on Wednesday, and they haven't announced a starter. So there's not much to preview there as far as the pitching matchups because they haven't announced starters yet. So um, you know, uh, you know, but they're a hot team. They shut down Philadelphia Phillies just this weekend, and took 2 out of 3 from the Phillies, scored a lot of runs, and guess what we need to do? We need the pitching to keep going, and so yeah.
yeah, no matter who's on the mound, I think we've proven this series just how resilient the Mets are and how we can tack on the runs. So no matter who they put out there, I'm pretty confident on the Mets being able to tack on these hits, tack on these runs, because going into the series with the Royals had the lowest ERA in all of baseball, and we were able to drive up some of their starting pitchers' ERAs on and not so much yesterday because they kind of or today or no on sorry not so much today but the 2 games previously we were able to get some good hits, and I don't think the Pirates have as much pitching depth as the Royals, so I feel confident in that. But it's really going to be an interesting series because the Pirates always start hot and they somehow always kind of lose momentum. Hopefully, we can be the team to kill their momentum.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's a good point. They did this last year. Some would say this is a better team than last year, but you're right. They did similar things last year, and then cooled down afterwards. And hopefully, we are the team to cool them down a little bit. So let's get into the who do you think? I'll let you go first. I'll let you go first. And who do you think is the Mets standout of the series?
Man, it's hard not to go with our boy Beatty, right? Because he's been so hot as of late, and he's kind of put it on um, every series. Even when he's not playing, he's playing hard. And so, but I don't want to go there this time because there was somebody that we forgot about. Well, not forgot about because we chose him one week and no one won with him. But I think Pete Alonso is going to have another great series. He's been hot lately. He's been swinging a good bat and hitting 3 home runs this series. I think is already propelling him to have an amazing season. And it just starts now, or started last series, and it's going to continue on this one. So I think he's going to kill these Pirates. We just got to get some people on base for him, and he's going to drive in a whole bunch of runs.
Yeah, no, now I'm a little upset I let you go first because I was gonna pick Pete because of the same reasons that you just said. It looks like he's starting to break out of his little mini slump that he was in between series there. But now I'm gonna have to pivot because I was thinking I was gonna pick Alonzo, and um, I'm a go again with Beatty. I'm a go with him two series in a row. I'm a stay hot, Beatty, and like you said, I don't think they have the pitching depth to sustain how they started. So yeah, well, let's go with Beatty. I'll go with Beatty and another W
We'll
in the
see.
pocket there.
We'll see about that, man. We'll see about that. But I guess since I got to go first and you were, crying about it, you guys go first this time.
All right. So I'm gonna make it easy. I'm gonna keep it simple. Because there are a couple guys doing too bad. But the guy that I'm going to pick, they have um a couple guys, but let me not complicate this. I'm gonna stick with Connor Joe. Connor Joe is the guy that I'm gonna pick. That's the guy that seems like he's gonna continue to produce, and so my guy is gonna be Connor Joe.
No, it's a good pick. He's been hot. He's been swinging a good bat, and he's lead off. He's leading off for the Pirates, and so he's got the most chance to kill the Mets this series. But again, just how crucial it is that the Mets have kind of been giving up a lot of stolen bags this year. I think that might come into play, even though the Pirates don't steal a lot of bags. They do have some guys that are able to provide a lot for them. Even though he hasn't gotten off to a hot start, um, well, not a hot start as in like he hasn't stolen a lot of bags, but he's still, I think the best player on their team. I don't know why he's batting so low. That might be the killer for the Mets killer this series, which is the reason that he's not going to do so hot. But how can you not go with another killer shortstop? I'm just going with all the shortstops on the other team because they seem to be producing. O'Neal Cruz is something else, man. He's an exciting player to watch, and I wish they would bat him higher in the order so that he gets more opportunity. But he's already driven in 6 runs this year. He's got three RBI or 3 home runs. He's got it all, and I think he can really kind of mess up the Mets this year or this series. But let's just not hope that it's too much, like you said. Hopefully, it's just enough so that we can still win this series.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, he led off today, so he might be that guy that's getting hot. But like, yeah, again, we're picking these Mets killers, but we always want them to do just enough that we're still winning the series. So, let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with Victor? Do you agree with me? Who do you think is the Mets standout of the series? You think Alonso's gonna break out in a big way and continue to hit some bombs for us, or do you think Beatty's gonna continue his hot start and kind of take over and maybe show a little power this series? He's been consistent, but not so much in the department. And maybe this is the series where he starts breaking out with the power department. So who knows? But at the end of the day, let us know what you think. Give us your comments. Give us your standout for the Mets. Give us who do you think your Mets killer is? Put it in the comments and let us know what you think. And before we get out of here, one little bit of Mets news. Tehran went to the Cubs. So he went to the Cubs today. So we're not going to be seeing Julio anytime soon because he got picked up by the Cubs and he's ready to go to another team. So you know,
It's so crazy how he keeps on getting picked up, man. I don't know how long he's gonna last in the Cubs. Hopefully he does well. But you know, he really didn't do anything for us, so can't say too much on him.
yeah, no, for sure. I mean, Cubs picked them up. They need some pitching. They got a couple guys hurt, so so that's all we're gonna say there. A little bit of news. Miners have been a little quiet, so not much to talk about there. But yeah, let's end it there. Before we get out of here, any last words?
Man, this series is going to be so crucial because we have a long road trip ahead of us over on the West Coast, and so if we can go off hot and go into LA next on Friday and continue to swing a hot bat, that's going to be so important because we're going to see LA and San Francisco going into next week, and I never liked those games, man. I never liked being out west, but hopefully we can take care of business here so that when we're out west, we don't have to worry about it too much. So, I'm like I said, I'm always optimistic about my Mets, man, and I think that we can take care of business here.
Yeah, no, for sure. Seeing going to see the Hot Dodgers in a few days, is always something. April was a pretty tough schedule this year. So, but the good thing is, after the rough start, the Mets are responding to that tough schedule and living up to the task. So. I'm loving it. So before we get out of here, hey guys, like this video, subscribe to the channel. Again, give us your comments. And until the end of the series, let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets.